Hi, welcome back to my channel, Fabulously Frugal and Fancy. I'm Brandy, and today we're going to be going back to last year when I made this cornucopia centerpiece. I actually gifted this to a friend. I love how this turned out. It's one of my favorite centerpieces that I've made for fall. Again, I don't decorate a ton for fall, so I don't really use this in my own home. It was made as a gift, and I hope you enjoy it. Stick around to the end and we'll chat a bit more later on. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hello there, my friends. Welcome back to my channel, Fabulously Frugal and Fancy. I'm so glad to be here with you today. Today is exciting for me because I am going to show you what I do with two Dollar Tree wreath frames that are shaped like the football wreath frames. Kind of looked at those and was like, what can I do with these? It was something that I thought was very creative for Thanksgiving, and I love how it turned out. It turned out beautifully. Very excited about it, so I hope you are too. This video is part of a collaboration, and I will tell you the information about that in just a little bit. But right now, let's get to crafting. I'll show you how I use these two Dollar Tree football wreath frames to make something very exciting. Stick around to the end and we'll chat back soon. Bye. So this video is part of a collab with Heidi Sambol. I want to thank her for doing this DIY challenge today. I used two of these wire football frames from Dollar Tree. And I take both of those and I cut off the tag here. You're just going to want to kind of try to place these together. They're not the exact same shape and size, so I take some zip ties and I put them together. At first you're going to make a full size, actual like a football. That's not what we're making in the end, but we take these and I zip tie them together. You're just going to want to try to pull that tight. Some of the way you're going to want to kind of push together so that it does fit. They are not the exact same shape, same size. But just do the best you can with those. Excuse me, my allergies are acting up just a bit today. Now, I will tell you, most Dollar Tree wreath forms, wreath frames, whatever you want to call them, are bendable, are pliable, can cut very easily. However, with these football frames that I picked up, that is not the case. These are stiff, they are sturdy, they are very thick, and I got wire cutters and I attempted to cut them because I had cut other Dollar Tree wreath frames before myself with no problem. These I was able to cut through, but it took a lot of force, a lot of strength, and I was not able to keep doing that. So I took it to somebody else and he cut it for me. He's got a lot more hand strength than I have. See, I'm putting all of my strength there and I'm able to cut it, but I was like, nope, I'm taking it to him. So I took it to him and he cut it for me. My boyfriend has a lot more hand strength than I do. It seemed pretty effortless for him. It was not for me. And as you can see, I'm going to make a cornucopia. And this is the beginning part. So I'm just adding some more zip ties, lining everything up. After it was cut, it didn't want to totally line up again. So I'm just adding some more zip ties. I had this lace. It was in from the wedding section, and it was white. It is glittery. I dyed it with coffee. I did not show that on video because I don't have the camera in my kitchen, so I just put that in a pot with some boiling coffee, took the whole roll and just slid it off of its little spindle and dyed the entire thing with coffee so that it could be brown. I wanted a little bit darker than this, but that's okay. It's At first I was going to try to weave it through the frame, but I decided I didn't want the frame to show, so I took a paper bag from a grocery store and I start wrapping it around, gluing it to itself. Not necessarily gluing it to the frame, but you don't really need to because I'm gluing the bag around the frame and gluing the bag to itself through the frame, so it holds pretty well. I tuck it in on the inside and I've used the back of the paper to kind of form that horn of the cornucopia. And you just got to play with it, get the shape that you're looking for. I did not really want that wireframe to show, so I decided to cover it. I was, you know, if you wanted to use like a dark brown ribbon and weave it through, that might be better than the lace. I had the lace on hand. I thought I had brown ribbon when I was planning this. I went through my stash. I could not find any. So if I do, it's put somewhere else. So I take this lace and I fold it in half, just kind of doubling it up. And I start at the front. And when I start, I leave an overhang because I do want to tuck that under so that the paper bag does not show. And again, that was just a paper grocery bag that you get at the grocery store. I just cut it open, cut it the bottom off, and use that as my foundation for my cornucopia. Now at the beginning part here, I am gluing that all the way around, and then later on I just glue, you know, periodically. But the beginning here, and I do recommend using either one of those little glue spatulas, the finger protectors. The glue does come straight through the lace. So again, I did double up the lace, but it is lace. The glue comes right through it. So I just proceed to wrap. As it's folded, I have to keep stopping and folding the tool in half again, just to kind of double it up and give it more coverage. So I double it up and I wrap it around. Just adding some glue here and there, just to stabilize it so it doesn't shift. Now, as you get toward the little horn of the cornucopia, you have to kind of, I think I cut it. I didn't continue with the long roll because this was a long roll of lace. I didn't even use half of the roll of tulle to cover this. So I end up cutting it and then just kind of gathering, gluing, tucking it around the end there to cover the little horn of the cornucopia. And again, you want to be careful not to burn your fingers. I use a high temp glue gun. That's where I cut the lace, and I just here you want to kind of fold. You're almost like you're pleating the lace just to get it to go around without bunching up. It's like I kind of pleated it over. I just folded it over itself, and I didn't have to add more glue because again, it's lace and it just goes right through. So I was able to kind of form it around the base. Again, I'm using finger protectors. I have burned myself badly. Had quite a few blisters on my fingers and not been able to craft for a few days. So I do try to use the finger protectors. I do try to protect my fingers. I can't say I always put them on. I can't say I always remember, but I am trying to do better with that because my fingertips do not like the hot glue. You just want to go around that whole horn until it's completely covered, until you're happy with the results. I just keep pulling and tugging and gluing until I'm happy with the way that it covers. And then I want to tuck the lace into the cornucopia so that you can't really see that paper bag and it's covered inside. So covered around the front edge. Also, that covered up the bare part of the frame where those pieces of the wire were sticking out. They were a little sharp. I did not want them to be poking out necessarily. So when I covered it with paper bag, that took care of that. And then the lace just covers that and makes it pretty. Again, this, you could use any kind of lace, burlap, whatever you want. I don't care for burlap too much, but I did use this lace. It did have a sparkle to it. And I take a scrap piece of wood, and I believe after I measured it, it was just a scrap piece that I found in my boyfriend's stash, and I just took that and I took my Waverly wax and I just I spray the board with some water just so the wax doesn't seep down too much, because I want it to be a stain more than a paint. And the water makes it move a lot easier too. You don't use nearly as much of the Waverly wax as you do without the water under it. It just really makes it flow into the wood a lot better. Now those little containers that I put my Waverly wax in, there's one with Waverly wax and one with Mod Podge. Those are just little sauce containers that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I believe they were 2 for $1. You can hold like salad dressings. They're in the food storage section. I believe they hold salad dressings typically. I like to put the Waverly wax and the Mod Podge in there because I can pour out little amounts at a time, squirt out a little tiny bit without it being the big bottle and me trying to pour without making a mess. Because when I pour out of those larger bottles, I tend to waste a lot more of the product. So I put it into these little ones, and then I can just squeeze out the little amount that I want. I can either squeeze it directly to my brush or to the product that I'm using, and I don't have to waste as much product. It works well for me. And if it was only, I think they were 2 for $1. Even if they were $1 a piece, it's not too bad. And I just want to make sure the sides are covered. I don't worry about the bottom because it's not going to be picked up. Underneath, you won't see the bottom at all. I have this little Halloween tag. Those did come 2 for $1. And I just love the shape of them for wreaths, for anything. They were just a pretty shape. Now this orange was regular apple barrel orange, and I mixed it with some of the Waverly wax to darken it, make it look like more of a pumpkin-y color. And I use these containers when I mix paints because I tend to mix too much. I always mix more than what I need, and I don't want to waste it, so I mix it in these little containers with the screw top lid. Then they're airtight, and I can reuse it throughout the season. Now I glue my cornucopia down. I do go back, and I don't believe I showed on camera, with the staple gun and staple over top of those wires inside just to stabilize it more. And I have these gold cursive stickers from Dollar Tree, and I just want to spell out the word blessed. Using my ruler to try to keep my words straight and to center them. I always start in the middle and work in from the middle to line up very centered. Now I'm putting them on the ruler first, so then I can just place the ruler and then just lift them up and place them where I want them. Now these stickers I had a little bit of a hard time with them because the center parts were not totally cut out, and one of them I ripped. Thankfully I didn't rip the actual letter, I just ripped it apart, but I was able to put it as a sticker, just stick it down next to each other, and you can't tell when I finish. So sometimes you can use something that you rip it, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not usable. You can just, especially with a sticker, you can sometimes glue it down or just stick it down to where it does not look like it's ripped at all. And that piece was the ripped piece, and there was like a little underneath part that kind of hung out, so I just snipped that off a little bit. And again, I start in the center. I find my center point, whether it be in between 2 letters or a certain letter, and that's going to be my center. And then I Mod Podge over that. I do add a little bit of gold. I want to try to dry brush it. At first I add a little too much, then I go in with the orange, add a little bit of that, just until I'm happy with the way the gold was a little bit too vibrant at first. I just wanted a little bit of shimmer, a little bit more. But at first that was too much, so I add a little bit of the orange, just to kind of dull it down a little bit, make it not quite so bright, but just like an accent. And you just got to play with it until it looks good to you. And I had a little Mod Podge. I don't actually wait for the paint to dry. It actually helped blend it just a little bit better even. I just Mod Podge over all of that to secure it all in, make sure that it's all there. I take a piece of foam and I put it inside the cornucopia. And then I'm just taking fall florals and fall picks that I have left over that I have not used yet in my stash. The sunflowers came from the thrift store. I had bought them for a baby shower I did last summer. I decorated for. Everything else came from the Dollar Tree. I believe there might be a few picks from Walmart in there too. I had these leaf garlands I had not used yet, so I decided I wanted to use those. And the first one, I just kind of take it and wrap it around the cornucopia, tucking it around underneath, just placing it where I wanted it, but I wanted some color towards the back of that cornucopia. And this garland I just snip apart. I don't want the whole garland. I don't want any more of the vine. The one garland added enough vine. And this garland that came from the Dollar Tree, the vine is like a brown color, so it actually does look like a leaf vine instead of just like a plastic piece with leaves hanging on it. Dollar Tree has really stepped up their game with their florals this past year, and this fall just their florals were unbelievable. They were beautiful, they were vibrant in color. And I'm just placing the sign there on the front. See where I want it so I can place my leaves around it. And I cut apart all my florals. I like to go ahead and cut them at the beginning and take off those pesky tags that come from the Dollar Tree. Those sticker tags, I do not like those. I always have to fight with those to get all the sticky off of the florals. Now it's a little bit tricky at first to get the styrofoam to stick in there because again you're just working on a wire frame. So I added a little bit more hot glue, added it right to the paper bag in there, and that seemed to hold it pretty well. I just start adding my leaves first to get the foundation in there. And these are that muted orange leaf, but the other leaves are brighter colors, so they all blend in really well. And some of these have pumpkins on them. I'm just leaving the pumpkins in. That's totally fine if those are there. I had this one little last pumpkin left over. It was more like a pick than just a pumpkin because it had the flower on the top. And I'm just taking all my florals, cutting those apart, separating those. And again, all my florals either came from Dollar Tree or from Walmart. And the only ones that did not were the orange sunflowers. Those right there are left over from a project I did last year because I decorated for a baby shower. And I had gotten those, a big bunch of those at the thrift store. And I believe they were like $2 for, I think it was like 4 bunches all together. Don't discount the florals at the thrift store. When you go there, check out and see. A lot of times they'll be in a bag hanging on the wall. And you can get some really good deals, even if you don't use all the florals. Some of them might be damaged or whatever. Sometimes it's a much better deal than what you pay. Even a Dollar Tree, because if you get 4 bundles for $1, you would have paid $4 for those at the Dollar Tree. So just check those out. Here's one of those tags I was mentioning. Just fighting to get that sticker. off of there. Now sometimes I'm lucky and the sticker is below the leaf, and I can just push the leaf up and leave the sticker on and cut the wire above it. That was not the case. This time the leaf was below the sticker and I didn't want to leave the leaf off. So, and I just start adding my florals. You can add as few as you want. You can do these however you want. I want to switch up the colors, so I'm, you know, going in different directions, trying to add the reds and the yellows and the oranges. I just love the fall colors. They're so vibrant and so beautiful, and I wanted to add all of those into this cornucopia piece. Now, some of those I'm adding directly to the wood because I want them to look like they have fallen out of the cornucopia, like they're cascading out. So some of those go around in the front, around that pumpkin. I have a couple of these pumpkins left over too that had the clips on the bottom. And I want to use up everything that I can because this is probably the last fall decoration I plan on making. So I want to use up everything in my stash that I possibly can. Angling that pumpkin up a little bit. I finally glue my sign down. I glue it to the cornucopia, and then I go in underneath and add a bead of glue right below where the sign is sitting against the wood, just to secure that in place. And now I'm just gluing on that garland I had wrapped around earlier. I hadn't glued it down. And adding in a few more pieces here and there, just wherever I think that they look good. You just have to see what looks good to your eye. And I'm trying to make it even, as you know, in the front and in the back. And I do decide, please don't mind my dog, he's downstairs barking if you can hear him. He's a little tiny dog with a big bark. He thinks he's a large dog. My large dog is actually laying here beside me in the floor very quietly, so please ignore the barking dog. I decided to turn it around to the back because if this is sitting on a table as a centerpiece, I want the back to look beautiful as well. And I'm adding in some more of the florals and more of the leaves all the way around on the base, just to finish it off. Again, so that if it's sitting on a table instead of against a wall, the backside looks beautiful too. You won't have the sign, but it'll still be a beautiful piece all the way around. And that is it. That is all that I do for this piece, this beautiful cornucopia. I love how this turned out. Here's some finished pictures. Again, I truly love how this turned out, all the vibrant colors, and I honestly could not resist. I actually had to take it outside and take some pictures too, because I think that it just shows so much better in the actual sunlight. And here is this outside. It just turned out so beautifully, and I'm so happy with how it turned out, and all from 2 Dollar Tree football wreath frames. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Hit a like, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Alright, so what did you think of the cornucopia? I really hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it. I hope if you do recreate this that you'll send me a picture of it. My email address is listed below in the description box. Also, I would like to add that if you are a new subscriber, I want to welcome you. I'm so thankful for all our new subscribers, and I do appreciate you joining our channel here. If you have been around for a while, I also appreciate you. I hope it's not boring to see something that you've seen before in the past, but I do appreciate all of my viewers. If you could leave me a comment below, like, subscribe to this video. I'm really trying to reach my 1,000 mark for YouTube subscribers, and I'm getting closer every day, so I really appreciate that, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Bye. Bye.